how to self-massage using a ball and using your hands. This is a tennis ball, it's a little bit squishy. It works okay, a lacrosse ball is good. Black roll balls I find a little bit too big, but that's kind of what I can suggest. We're going to work along the spine first of all, not directly on the spine, but to either side. And we're going to start at the top and lead on. We want to hold each spot for about 30 seconds. I'm going a little bit fast, but now we'll switch to the next spot. You kind of want to get onto the point and lead into it for about 30 seconds and then move on. I'm creating more pressure by stepping out and I create less pressure by stepping in. I want to keep the focus muscles relaxed, so my spine muscles relaxed here. And now the next area. If you're doing this whole back section in 5 minutes, just divide up each side and do about 2.5 minutes on either side. Time for the next spot. What I don't want to see is things like this. This does absolutely nothing. It's too fast and it's not getting pressured enough. Coming down a little bit lower. This is a little bit sensitive for me, so I'm going to step closer to the wall so there's less pressure. Coming down, again, is a little bit fast, but it gives you an idea of roughly what you want to be doing. You should be doing each spot once only. As I come to here, you can do a little bit of a rotation and get into the side, kind of in between the space, between the ribs and the hips. And do the other side. I'm just going to very quickly glaze over this. This is just a demonstration. I'm moving down about this much each time. Yeah, you can either drop it or you can use your hand to physically move it. Again, coming in the space between the ribs and the hips with a little bit of rotation and get into that kind of spot. Next, we're going to work across the chest. I like to visualize 3 lines, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. It looks like this for me on the wall. And I'm just going to do one slow roll outwards along those 3 lines. Again, making sure to keep those focus muscles relaxed. I don't hold so much tension here, so it doesn't need so much work for me. It's also fine to work in right under the armpit in kind of this space and just kind of heavily lean into it. That's also great. I'll just do the other side very briefly so that I don't feel uneven. Next, to work through the glutes. Again, you want to visualize 3 lines. If you want to go 1, 2, and 3, that's great. I like to put my hands on my knees and get a nice kind of push in against the wall. I'm doing again a slow roll. Yeah, about as straightforward as that. One way to visualize it is that each muscle has a boundary. You want to think of a north, south, east, west, and you want to find that boundary where you hit a bone or where you hit some type of border. In the chest, you get to your breastplate. Here you get to your shoulder. Here you get to your clavicle. And each muscle has a boundary. Once you understand what that boundary is, you can then explore working that muscle, and that should help apply this to other areas of the body. To work on the top of the shoulders, I call this the crab claw technique. You want to hold here and pull down. We're going to be exploring, again, where's the bounds of this muscle? It's right here. Create strength here and pull downwards with this motion. Visualize your shoulder and pulling down. And this should be pretty straightforward. You get a lot more power than pulling with your fingers. You want to lock your arm and just pull down. Similarly with the ball in the hand, this can give you more power and be less pressure on your fingers. Explore the bounds. That's the best way to understand this. Part 2, working on the side of your neck. You want to be pulling outwards with the arm in a motion like this and reaching over. I find this pretty effective. You can also do this with the ball. It looks like this. It's pretty straightforward. Last one with the thumbs. Up in like this. And with the ball, locking like that. And pull it up. A pretty straightforward technique. Very effective with the ball. With the jaw, about here, again, find the bounds of the muscles. Where does it end? For here, it's about, for me, I can work it like this with my fingers, with my knuckles and supporting, or with the ball. I prefer the ball. And just like a slow hold and move around. Again, here, it's just cheek. There's nothing there. Here, you can work right on the bone. That can feel quite relieving. And once you explore these bounds, of the areas. That's a pretty straightforward way of working. Hands and arms. So first of all, we're going to work on this muscle, the top muscle. Top muscle. On me, you can see where the tension is. We're going to use crab claw technique and squeeze in. The power is coming from my forearm, not from my fingers. Although it looks like I'm using my fingers like this, I'm not. I'm just using the squeezing pressure. And we want to squeeze in and work along the lines of the muscle that run down the arm. And this is where most of your tension will be. Notice I'm here, I'm squeezing and I'm pulling down. Again, explore the bounds of that muscle and you'll see it's kind of right within this area. Similarly, working underneath, crab claw coming downwards, grab under and pull and work that area. My pressure is coming from my fingers here. It's not coming from my thumb. Wrist, you can do a basic kind of massage like this. Do some stretches like this. Hands. I like to work in the pressures coming from the fingers along the outside bone. Then working between the space between the fingers, between the bones, here, here, here. Again, now I'm going to work on the inside of this. Then I'm going to work along the thumb bone and a squeeze right in here. Again, this pressure is coming from the strength and power is coming from my hands, squeezing like this, not from my fingers pushing. My fingers are quite weak relative to my arms, and that applies for most people as well. Again, for the other side, just to repeat it, crab claw, work this area. That's where most of your tension will be. Crab claw coming down, work under here, bit of wrist, along the sides of the finger, between the fingers, along the pointer finger, along the thumb, and a deep kind of trigger point there. You should feel a lot in that middle section. So you can also separate the fingers as a stretch. I'm going to separate these two by going like this, and I'm going to switch and push them the other way. Next, the middle two fingers, separating, then switching, and then the pointer and the third finger. And that can be a really effective stretch, really effective. Again, I'll do the other side. These two, swapping over, these two, middle two, and the last ones. And that usually creates a lot of tension relief. To work under the leg, sitting on a hard surface, such as a chair or table, can be great. Make sure your leg is not straight and it's out a little bit so there's no pressure going into the knee. You can either push down or have somebody sit on you as a way to work in through that tension. Another way you can get the top of your shoulder is with the corner of a wall, using the ball. Here I'm just over and I'm just leaning in. Very effective, very powerful, particularly if you're a light person, you won't have enough body weight to get this on the wall.